Good, was it morning or good afternoon? Good early afternoon. Good early afternoon, family. How are you guys on this Monday? This beautiful day of a Monday. You know what, family? What was on my spirit as I just sat here to take a break while I'm waiting on something to drain? I was just thinking about something when it comes to, um, particularly my people of God, all of y'all's people, the world, you know, even those who have good intentions and those who are gifted in the spirit, you know, many of us have different gifts in certain areas. Some of us have multiple gifts and skills, and some of us are just gifted with the ability to, learn quick or pick up on something. But whatever it is, there is a light that we all must shine, right? And collectively we're stronger. But you know what I was pondering on? About there's so much, how can I say it? Disloyalty, jealousy, bitterness, anger. There's no unity. And together we are strong. But here's what my opinion is on the fact of why we're not united from my personal experiences, which is my truth. And I think that's where we start at. I believe the reason that we cannot unite like many want to, even some of those who cause division, they really want to unite deep down on the inside. But I believe a lot of people's personal insecurities, personal errors within themselves sometimes will cause us to deflect and really try to expound on an error in our brother and sister rather than just walking in our own truth, talking, being strong enough to say, you know what, I used to be like this, or I struggle with this in this area, or I got it wrong in this area, but now I've learned the right way, and this is what I can share, you know. And I think being able to adapt that mindset, and then some people don't really like themselves. It's like we have to be reprogrammed to look like those in the world who are maybe popular say that we're supposed to look, dress like them, talk like them, even down to the hair. You know how many people have criticized my Jesus hair, my Yeshua hair, my Yah hair, my Elohim hair, have told me to cut it off. I've only been growing this for 4 years. I've had multiple hairstyles and things like that. I know what it is to wear weave on top of long hair, because naturally, even when my hair was relaxed, which was with chemicals, but I've always had very long hair. My regular hair, I would keep it in a ponytail all the time. And then sometimes I would even, add the weave in it. But my spirit changed from all of that. And I didn't look down on anybody who still was doing that. But then you will have people in today's time who think they have arrived, and they look down on you because you won't put weave in your hair, and they don't know your story, baby. I've been there, done that. They look down on you. Oh, you're growing them locks, and and this and this. Well, that's my choice, and I think we will never be united. And then you have some people who, we learn certain things, and we can share certain things, and we want to esteem ourselves better than our brothers and sisters, and we want our brothers and sisters really to receive us. But rather than coming in a loving and a gentle way and sharing our truth, we come with trying to attack, we come with trying to belittle, we come with trying to change people's truths. So you can say, okay, you know what, I have learned this way, but I see this about you, and I think you should do it this way, or I think you're doing it wrong, or I think this, like, and that person may say, well, this is the reason why I do this way, because for me, this is what has been happening in my life. These are my experiences. Until people humble themselves and really deal with their brothers and sisters out of love and begin to listen and learn what people's truths are, what folk have been really going through, why people operate the way they operate, there's not gonna be any unity. There's not gonna be any unity. There's always gonna be a competition. There's always gonna be some people who provoke others, if you allow them to try to get you to compete with them or fight with them, when really we're stronger than we're united. We all have strengths, we all have weaknesses, we all have a reason for why we operate the way that we operate. We all have been through things, and some may be still going through things that nobody may even know about, or even you may feel like nobody has cared about. But until folk are willing to listen and not try to push your truth forcefully on somebody else and make them adopt your way, but just shining your light. Don't you know people will follow the truth? That's how God unites his people. When we walk in truth and just live our normal, authentic lives. And as we walk that walk, we're still learning, we're still growing, we're still evolving. And so sometimes people can see your light. Those who light may have not been turned on yet. And then boom, it could inspire them. And now you turn on their light. So there's like, hey, brother, I see what you're doing, Dad. You've inspired me in this way. Hey, sister, you've inspired me in this way. And then now that you've inspired them, they're doing their own work internally. But then sometimes where the problem comes in, now you've let them know they inspire you. So now they get the big head. See? And then they get the big head and they start looking down on you. The same one that once inspired you is now beating down on you. And so people turn away from that. See? Because what was making them, they feel good and they thought they were following you for you the right thing, but really now all of you're getting personally involved trying to beat down on somebody else's spirit rather than just continue doing what you're doing, living your life, shining your light, being embracing and loving to your brothers and sisters, even those who may be a bit different, even those who may not walk the same way you walk, talk the way you walk, talk the way you talk. You know, we're supposed to be united. And a lot of religion has also divided God's people, as what we've shared many times here. I'm moving back a little bit. I'm enjoying the sunlight, but it's burning my legs and feet. But even religion of what we shared many times here through our studies, right? Because this morning I was reading and looking at some of the things the prophet Moroni began to reveal. And I think I've shared this before, and I've said many times religion divides us. But when we I've had some religious folks come against me time after time over the years, and it would frustrate me sometimes. And I said, just leave me alone. Give me the books and I'm going to study. You give me the books and leave me alone. And then I begin to, as you study the books for yourself, you develop a personal relationship with our God. And I see how Moroni this morning, how he begins to share the records of the prophet Muhammad, how he had a direct encounter with Jesus, you know, and in the prophet Elijah Muhammad even goes back to talk about how Khadijah, his first wife, he was very faithful to her. But after the death of Khadijah, Elijah Muhammad, he got into his flesh as well and began to take on under many wives, the lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, and how Jesus dealt with him and taught with him, instructed him to teach their people of that different culture. And pretty much in a nutshell, what he was saying is, as many of us, we are connected, but some people's terminology and the words they use are different, but we're talking about the same God. We're serving the same God. And it's not just about somebody saying it, because there are the tares that have been sown against the wheat. There are people who believe in a demonic agenda. And until we realize that the children of Satan are real and we are ourselves, because some people will say, the devil can influence us and use us, and we can be influenced. And even some have been possessed by demonic spirits. That's an experience that I've had, and I know that that's true. But there are some people who've never seen this type of thing, and they are taught in a different way that they are Satan. And you can't be Satan and be a child, a son, a daughter of God at the same time. You can be influenced by Satan. We can see the error within ourselves of how we were allowing the devil to use us. We were on the wrong path, just like Saul before he was converted. He was killing and crucifying, murdering the people of God. But he thought he was doing the right thing. He was on the wrong purpose, right? He was being used and influenced by the spirit of error, by the devil, if you want to say it that way. But when he had a direct encounter with the Spirit of God, his eyes were open and no man or woman could close them. And so many of you, you're having a direct encounter with God, regardless of what path he has you on. But he is still uniting. And the power of God is working through you. And those of us who are continuously doing our inner work every day, striving for righteousness, hunger and thirst after righteousness. Like the Bible says, blessed are those who hunger and thirst after righteousness, they shall be filled. Those who are doing our work and we're hungering, we're thirsting for righteousness, standing on truth, those who are opposing you, who are coming against you, they are coming against you because they are of their father, the devil. They will try to frustrate your purpose in the earth and be a stumbling block to you shining your light. And so it's very vital that we identify and be able to rightfully discern our brothers and sisters. Some of our brothers and sisters walk in a bit of ignorance. We all do, because that ignorance is just a lack of knowledge on a certain thing in a certain area. But when you identify that spirit and that power of God working through an individual, you'll know them. Just like I'm reminded of um, when you get the Sefer and you see details of Joseph, when his brother finally went to him, he didn't reveal his identity to them right away. His brother Judah was beginning to get angry because he kept holding them against their will. They wanted to go back. They kept saying, "We'll come back," and Joseph kept challenging them. And Judah had a loud shriek and power. He was the strongest of them, and it was so powerful. He could bring men, make you fall to your knees with that shriek. But Joseph's son had that same power. See what I'm saying? Joseph's son had that same power on the inside of him. And so what we see is Joseph, when Judah did that, and Joseph called his son, and his son made that same shriek, and it made them tremble. Judah looked at the rest of his brother. He whispered to him. He said, "Psst." He said, that's one of us. Pretty much what he was saying is that power, that's one of the house of Israel. That's one of us. you know Trying to say that that's one of our people. That I know that strength. Everybody don't have that same strength. And so when you really know who you are, and you know how strong we've been built, and you know the power that works on the inside of us, we will tend to operate more in love and try to be understanding, even for those who don't look like us and walk like us and talk like us, and even for some of our brothers and sisters who may be on a lower level learning, and even some who are on a higher level learning. They may not show up speaking the same language you speak, but they got the same spirit working on the inside of them. You're of the same Father. And the only way that we are going to unite is when we come together, set aside the pride, come together in love, and learn to listen to people's truth. I'm not saying give your ear to nobody who are going to speak cruel and disrespectful and negative all in your spirit. No, that's not God. That's not God, right? But you give your ear to listen and be open minded to people's personal experiences, their truths. And we study these books, these words, these things our Father have left for us, these sealed books that are being revealed to the elect, and we put the pieces together bit by bit with our personal experiences and truths and lives as we continue to live, and accepting our brothers and sisters as they are. If they're not trying to pull us back and working against us, then they're working with us, right? And not trying to beat people down in their spirit and force them to think the way you think, but just shine your light. Don't you know that shining a light is powerful? You don't have to beg nobody. You don't have to cheat nobody, hustle nobody, beat nobody, hurt nobody. Shine your light before men so that they can see and know who your Father in heaven is. There's some folk that shine a light, and I can see the spirit of my Father working in them. But they ain't as deep in the word. They don't always come with the word. But I see the spirit of my Father working in them. I had an uncle like that. My uncle that has passed. He was a very strong man in his strength. He used to help me out a lot of things around the house and stuff. And he taught me a lot. And, his name was Abraham. But my uncle, he was an unlearned man, meaning he couldn't read and write that well, but he could grow food, he could grow a garden. His sister talks about it now, how, oh, I got dirt in my locks. Oh, man. I didn't realize I had dirt. I had to wash my locks, too. I'm keeping these locks up a bit more because I'll go in the house and get that out. Make sure I get that dirt out. Because it's been heavy on my neck. A lot of people say their locks don't get heavy, but this hair just don't stop growing. But when I put it up top like that, it kind of neutralizes everything, and I don't feel the weight on my neck. But anyway, he could grow food, you know. And my aunt, his sister, talk about, oh, I love it how he grow them watermelon. He taught me how to grow them watermelon before he left here, you know. And he was a very strong man, mentally and spiritually. He went through some battles and challenges, but when we would come together, a lot of people judged him sometimes from his outer appearance, and sometimes he drank and stuff like that. And they called him just a nobody. You ever hear that song? I'm just a nobody trying to tell everybody about somebody who can save anybody. I used to love that song. But when I would be heavy and burdened down sometime in my spirit, at the end of the day on the weekend, I would leave college sometimes and I would go find my uncle, and we just pick us up something to eat and just ride around, and just being in his presence made me feel better. And then he would pray. Sometimes we'll pray and he'll look up at that sky and he'll point his finger up. He said, I know God. He'll beat on his chest like that, and tears would fill his eyes. And you could feel the presence of God around him, right? God favored him. Sometimes it ain't about how people look sometimes. It's about the spirit that people walk in, the love, the light that they carry, right? You don't ever have to say words sometimes, just by being around and in certain presences. I remember when I used to have some folk visit me. I used to do a mentor some young girls years ago. And one of the young ladies said she'll come at my house sometimes. She'll say, I don't want to go home. I said, you ain't got to go home, but you got to get up out of here. I was like, come on, let me drop you. But people would say, I don't want to leave, because they say when it's like peaceful, when I come around, I could just sit here and be in peace. Sometimes you go around some people, they just have a peace about their spirit, you know? And in this day and time, we got to stop hurting people, and we got to stop um, giving fuel to those who are operating in error, deliberately using their influence to cause pain to those that they envy, simply because they still want to, they're competing in this Babylonian system. They still want self elevation, self glory. They want to keep growing so big, and they're hurting people, you know, that they envy, hurting other people, and trying to dim other people who are dim the lights of other brothers and sisters, because they want to be the shiniest object. They want to be number one. No, if you walk in purity and sincerity, we all have a light that we can shine. We all have a light to shine. It don't do me no make me feel not good to see a brother or sister fall, or to sabotage what they're trying to do. That don't make me feel good. Miserable people do miserable things. I would never deliberately or intentionally do anything to hurt or sabotage my brothers and sisters. If I can't help you, then I ain't gonna intentionally trying to harm you. If I see you struggling in the area, if you share certain things, a weakness that you're going through with me, I'm gonna pray for you. I'm going to pray for you, because I know I've been there before. And I know as long as we live in this earth, one day you might be strong today, but you could be weak tomorrow. Sometimes life circumstances changes and cause people to go through certain things. You never know what you might go through in this life. And so it's good to walk around in love. And so that's my 2 cents. What's going to unite us is not you're right and I'm wrong. You're wrong and I'm right. I can do it better than you. Oh, I know better than you. What's going to unite us is operating in love, sincerity, shining our own light, and sharing our truths, the truths of our lives from day to day, and not being too puffed up in pride and envy and jealousy and covetousness that you cannot honor the good that you see a brother or sister is doing, even if they may not walk like you, talk like you, or look like you. That's what's going to unite us. And when people share their truths, don't try to use your right. Don't try to dictate and lord over other people and call them wrong because of their own personal experiences, right? Listen to people's truths. And if you don't agree, guess what? It's okay to part ways. You go your way and I go my way. We ain't like minded. That's fine too. Because everybody is not going to like you. And regardless of how anybody wants to see it, there is evil energies that operate in this earth amongst us. Jesus called them children of the devil, right? They called them tares. And that is why we have a lot of wicked things going on in high places because of the tares. So understand, we all only have one enemy. Either you're of the light or you're of the darkness. So that's just my little 2 cents. Love is what's going to unite us. Having understanding, listening, not listening to argue and debate, but listening to understand and learn. Have a blessed day.